What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. In this one, I will be going over my review, my thoughts, overall, what I think about the second book in the Horus Heresy, False Gods. So I recently have been going through trying to find a good amount of books for the Horus Heresy to dive in deep into the lore, and lately I've come across pretty much 9 out of 10 or 12 books that I deem are a necessity to read. So if you guys want to know what books you have to read in the Heresy, I will put a link down below so you guys can check out what are the Horus Heresy essentials, what order you should read them in, which ones you should skip, and as of this recording, I've already gotten my review out for the first book, so you guys can check that out. Links are going to be all there. But for now, I do want to let you guys know that spoilers are gonna be rampant throughout this video. I'm giving you my thoughts, I'm talking about key important points, but I mean, by this point in time, pretty much everything that happens in these books are like common knowledge. I mean, this is Warhammer 30K, we're currently in the 40K era, so, I mean, if you guys are want to read this for yourself, I guess, this is the point to stop and, check out the book for yourself. So, with that being said, this book opens up with the destruction of the Interrex, which is another human civilization out in space. It sucks because Erebus is pretty much the one orchestrating all this chaos and turmoil and putting people against people, and Horus is just doing everything that Erebus wants him to do. I mean, Horus should know that, his honor is being tarnished and whatnot, but the way chaos works, I feel they just had too much going for them correctly. Like, when, I'm going to be going, not in order, I guess, but basically, when Horus says that Temba has, put a stain on his honor and that he has to go to the moon of Davin to slay Temba himself, he's clearly walking into a trap, and the main character of the book, Garviel Loken, sees this, and it's just like, it's so, like, knowing what happens at the end and knowing how easy Horus, a Primarch, is falling into this trap, it's just a little, like, it takes me away from the realism of this fantasy world, if that makes sense. But, I mean, it is pretty cool. You do see swamps being infested with Nurgle zombies, and then you see a fight between Horus and a Nurgle-possessed Temba. Now, Temba, from what I've gathered, is just a regular person. He shouldn't be on Primarch level, but with Nurgle powering his basically dead body, and with the sword, the Anathame blade, it's almost a 100% loss for the Primarch Horus. And Horus is winning pretty much 99% of the time, but with this blade, it only takes one slice, and that's it. With that slice, Horus slowly succumbed to the poisons or whatever mystical powers reside in this blade, and that is how Horus's descent to chaos began. On his way back from the swamp moons of Davin, there's a point where clearly everybody's, all in a ruckus, they don't know what to think, like the Primarch is literally dying, and so there's like a crowd of people trying to see what's going on, and the Luna Wolves literally just stampede a slew of humans that were on the ship without even, giving 2 looks at them. I mean, I guess you can say, like they're concerned about their Primarch, Horus. He is the Emperor's mouthpiece since he's named the War Master. So what's a human compared to the War Master, right? But at the same time, you have other remembrancers and other characters seeing this happen and just showing how far detached Astartes are from humanity. What separates warrior from human? Like, yes, they look like humans, but they're bigger, faster, stronger, bred for war. And at what point are these literally just berserkers pretending to have human emotions and thoughts and stuff like that? So there is a subtle theme in the background of humanity and what it means to be a human. And at the same time, you also start to think about how Horus has been handling all this pressure put on him. I guess that could be another reason as to why he fell to chaos. Another reason as to why everything that the chaotic gods have been planning in the background and putting their thoughts and plans forward through Erebus and Norgar and all this. Like, all these little bits and pieces do build up to create something crazy, such as the Horus Heresy. So as Horus is on his deathbed, he basically goes into a near-death state, into the warp, and he is kind of led through different, past events. We see the creation of the Primarchs. We see how they got spread out into the galaxy through Erebus guiding Horus, and as all this is happening, we have another Primarch. Magnus the Red is also in these visions/warp landscape, trying to help his brother Primarch. Magnus is not corrupted by chaos. He is trying to help Horus, since he has seen the future and he knows the events to come, and he's also trying to fight off Erebus's kind of ways of pushing Horus towards chaos. And unfortunately, Horus sides with Erebus, kind of. I mean, basically he says he's not going to listen to either one of them, and he's going to decide for himself. But at this point, Magnus knows what's going to happen. It just sucks that he couldn't listen to his own brother Primarch above the visions of chaos. And as this happens, we kind of jump forward in time, and we see Horus, who has now been healed, meeting with another human civilization, and then he gets an evil smirk and decides to just completely annihilate these humans who are willing to work with the Imperium. So this is where we start to see the descent of Horus. We start to see how chaos got his hands around the Imperium and how it began to bleed into all these Space Marine chapters, or I guess at this point, legions. Because by this point, we also see the World Eaters and how Angron has just been far gone. The Butcher's Nail is just always angry all the time, that kind of thing. And it's really badass to see him just like go crazy, go berserker mode against the enemies of mankind, which technically they weren't enemies, they were humans that wanted to surrender, they wanted to work alongside them. But of course, this is a world, or I guess a universe, a galaxy, where hope is no longer there. It's grimdark. So we see all these inklings of hope, inklings of civilization, inklings of humanity wanting to work with one another. But of course, chaos has to bury that under its dark, depressing foot. And I think that's how they get you into, like, the way I was feeling. Like, oh, it's too easy to corrupt a Primarch. Everything's happening too perfectly for chaos. It's supposed to. It's grimdark. So I think that's something that I had to kind of step away from and rethink. Like, hey, yeah, this is 40K. Obviously, all of these events are set in stone. Like, we've seen what the Imperium has become. Now we're just getting the little details from the past. So, yeah, it's frustrating because, like, you're seeing the bad guy win, quote unquote. Not to say that the Imperium is the good guy, because there is no good guys in 40K, but definitely I think the author is getting the emotions that they want to get the reader to achieve, and he's getting them from me, at least. So that's my interpretation. That's how I view this awesome novel. Is it better than the first one? I think so. It's definitely a must-read, the second novel in the series of the Heresy, because it really builds upon how Horus was given the title of War Master, which was a huge honor, but also a huge amount of pressure on him, and how all this pressure cracked even a Primarch, and these cracks were deep enough for chaos to infiltrate in. So with that being said, guys, a greatly good read, be it via actual book or on Audible. I do recommend it. I will be starting the other book probably tonight. So with that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. How did you feel about this book? Will you be reading it? Because even though I kind of gave you a summary, a synopsis as to what happens, there are a ton of things in there that I can make whole videos on, such as when Horus is on his deathbed, still not corrupted by chaos, and he's talking about how he thought Sanguinius should have been the War Master. Like, Sanguinius could carry the burden, and Sanguinius was the one that fully encompasses what the Emperor was or is. So that's something else that we could kind of tear apart and look into as to what are the traits that Sanguinius has that would make him a better war leader, war master than Horus. It would be really appreciated if you guys liked, shared, and commented. If you want to support us, super thanks is right there. You can hit us up on Patreon, or, just giving it a like is more than enough. So as always, this has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.